Today, on Seats and Wheels, we're diving into BMW's biggest shock that split car fans in half. The crazy truth behind the M3 engine switch that turned angry fans into believers and changed everything forever. It's 2007, and BMW just dropped a bomb that would shock the car world. After years of building cars with smooth six-cylinder engines, BMW did something that made car fans lose their minds. They took their best car, the M3, and ripped out its heart. But this wasn't just any change. This was BMW saying goodbye to almost 20 years of six-cylinder engines and hello to something that would make fans scream. A loud V8 engine. The internet went crazy. Car magazines freaked out, and BMW fans around the world felt like their favorite company had just stabbed them in the back. You see, the BMW M3 has always been special. It wasn't just another fast car, it was the fast car. The best car that every other sports car tried to beat. And now BMW was messing with something perfect, or so everyone thought. To understand why the switch to 8 cylinders was so shocking, we need to go back to where it all began. The BMW M3 story starts in 1986 with the first generation M3. But here's the thing, that first M3 didn't even have a 6-cylinder engine. The M3 lineage began in 1986 with the introduction of the BMW E90 M3. BMW had to make at least 5,000 road-legal copies of their motorsport sedan available as a street version to be homologated to satisfy the DTM Racing Group A touring rules. BMW engineers gave the E90 M3 the best components available in the BMW Racing Parts bin. The M3 came mainly as a coupe with limited volumes of convertibles, and both featured BMW's S14 B23, 2.3-liter inline high-revving 4-cylinder engine, which initially delivered 192 horsepower and 170 pound-feet of torque with a catalytic converter and 197 horses and 177 pound-feet of torque in countries where it was not fitted. In 1989, without a catalytic converter, power was improved to 212 horsepower. Though the M3 shared the same basic road car shell as the 3 Series, it had unique and different aerodynamic body panels the other base model lacked. It also had flared wheel arches to make room for race tires. The suspension, brakes, and drivetrain were different. The E90 M3 had a 5-speed clutch-type manual overdrive transmission. This M car could go from 0 to 60 in 6.1 to 6.7 seconds, with a top speed of 146 miles per hour. The E90 M3 was known for its lightweight and fast performance, making it a benchmark of its time. It was the second-generation BMW E36 M3 in 1992 that really started the 6-cylinder tradition. BMW put in their magnificent S50 B30, a 3-liter 6-cylinder engine that made 286 horsepower, 236 pound-feet of torque, compression ratio of 10.8 to 1, and a red line of 7,200 RPM. The S50 is the high-performance version of the M50, which was used in the E36 M3, replacing the 4-cylinder BMW S14 engine used in the E30 M3. It had an iron block and aluminum head with 4 valves per cylinder. The S50 also had an individual throttle body for each cylinder, BMW's single Vanos variable valve timing system, which adjusted the phasing on the intake camshaft, Bosch Motronic M 3.3 engine management, and redesigned intake and exhaust systems. The engine was smooth, classy, and could hit 0 to 60 in under 6 seconds. Then came the third-generation E46 M3 in 2000, which was produced in coupe and convertible body styles, and BMW made it perfect. They made the S54 engine bigger at 3.2 liters, pumped out 338 horsepower, produced a higher 269 pound-feet of torque, and increased compression ratio to 11.5 to 1. As with most M engines, the S54 has individual throttle bodies for each cylinder, with electronic throttle-controlled drive-by-wire operation of the throttles being a new feature for the S54. 2 6-speed transmissions were offered, a traditional and sequential manual known as the SMG. It was the ultimate driving machine that gave drivers an 8,000 RPM redline to explore that would make your ears ring. This engine became a legend. It had this smooth power that just kept building and building, with a sweet spot in the last 1,000 RPM that made you want to keep revving it forever. This M3 became the best of the best. Car writers called it iconic, track day lovers worshipped it, and BMW fans thought it couldn't be beaten. The six-cylinder engine wasn't just a motor, it was the heart of the M3. Behind closed doors at BMW's M Division headquarters in Germany, engineers were cooking up something that would change everything. By the mid-2000s, they knew they had a problem. Other car companies were making faster cars, rules about pollution were getting stricter, and customers wanted more power after decades of BMW M3 dominance. Mercedes had their fast AMG cars, Audi was making their RS cars, and even Cadillac was trying to compete with their CTS V. BMW needed to fight back, and they needed to fight back big. The rumors started in 2006. Car writers began whispering about a new M3 that would dump the six-cylinder engine. At first, nobody believed it. Why would BMW mess with success? The old M3 was selling great and everyone loved it. Why fix something that ain't broke, as the saying goes? But then the spy photos started showing up. Test cars were spotted at racetracks with weird bumps in their hoods. The exhaust sound didn't sound like any six-cylinder anyone had ever heard. Something was definitely happening. When BMW finally showed off the new M3 concept at the Geneva Motor Show in 2007, the car world went absolutely nuts. There it was, sitting pretty with those classic M3 wide-wheel arches and mean front bumper. However, the M3 concept, which became the E90, E92, and E93 in production, was now proudly wearing a bulge on its hood. It was hiding something underneath that made BMW fans feel like their world was ending. Under the hood, gone was the beloved six-cylinder power plant. It had been replaced with a 4-liter V8 engine. Not just any V8 though, but a high-revving monster that redlined at a crazy 8,400 RPM. BMW had built a beast that made 414 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque. It was more powerful than any M3 before it and could hit 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 5 seconds. But that didn't matter to the angry mob online. The internet forums lit up like fireworks. BMW has lost its mind, they screamed. This isn't a real M3, they cried. The six-cylinder is what made the M3 special, they complained. Some even said it would kill the entire M3 name, claiming that BMW had done something terrible. The complaints were everywhere. Car fans worried that the V8 would make the M3 too much like an American muscle car. They thought it would be too heavy, use too much gas, and be too rough compared to the smooth six-cylinder. BMW had built their name on smart engineering and precision, and critics feared the V8 would destroy that reputation. Here's where the story gets really interesting. BMW knew exactly what they were doing, and they were playing a much bigger game than anyone knew. The engineers at BMW's performance division weren't just throwing any old V8 into the M3, they were creating something totally new. Stavros Yaloridis, BMW's boss, later explained why they made this crazy move. Customers loved the six-cylinder M3, so we knew the switch to a high-revving V8 would be watched closely, he said. Some people even said it would kill the M3, until they drove it. You see, BMW wasn't giving up on their engineering skills. They were pushing them to new heights. This wasn't some lazy American V8 that made power just by being big. This was a high-tech, high-revving masterpiece that combined the best of both worlds. The power of a V8 with precision German engineering. The S65 V8 V8 engine was a work of art. It had separate throttles for each cylinder, a special crankshaft for that classic V8 sound, and smart valve timing that let it rev like a motorcycle engine. At 8,400 RPM, this thing was spinning faster than most supercars. All the fancy specs in the world couldn't prepare people for what happened when they actually drove the V8 M3. Car writers who had been doubtful suddenly found themselves converted. The first test drives in 2007 were nothing short of amazing. One car writer perfectly captured what it felt like. A big push of the gas pedal makes the V8 go from a deep rumble to a high RPM scream. A quick tap of the paddle shifter and the 7-speed gearbox slams home another gear with a satisfying thump. The needle shoots back up to 8,400 RPM with a beautiful howl. The V8 gave something the 6-cylinder never could: pure excitement. Where the 6-cylinder was smooth and predictable, the V8 was explosive and addictive. The power was smoother and stronger, with torque available everywhere instead of just at the top end. And the sound! Oh, the sound was something else entirely. Instead of the harsh metallic noise of the old 6-cylinder, the V8 made music that ranged from a gentle rumble at idle to a screaming wail at redline. It was the kind of engine sound that would make you take the long way home just to hear it sing. While keyboard warriors were still arguing on internet forums, something amazing was happening in BMW showrooms around the world. People were buying the V8 M3 faster than BMW could make them. The sales numbers tell an incredible story. In Australia, where BMW had been tracking M3 sales for years, the numbers were absolutely stunning. The previous M3, with its beloved 6-cylinder, had taken 7 full years to reach 1,579 total sales. The generation before that had only managed 890 cars over 8 years. But the controversial V8 M3? It sold 973 cars in just 2 years and was on track to become the most successful M3 ever. Within weeks of this milestone, BMW Australia was preparing to deliver their 1,000th V8 M3, something that would have taken the 6-cylinder cars nearly 10 years to achieve. The competition wasn't even close. During the same time, Mercedes-Benz managed to sell 772 of their C63 AMG, while Audi could only move 129 RS4s, and Lexus sold just 158 ISF models. The V8 M3 wasn't just successful, it was crushing everyone. So what was it about this V8 that converted so many doubters? The answer lies in the driving experience. BMW had created something that was both calm and wild, depending on how you used your right foot. In normal driving, the V8 M3 was incredibly smooth. The engine was quiet and refined, the ride was comfortable thanks to electronic shocks, and it could easily carry 4 people in luxury. It was the kind of car you could drive to dinner without any drama. But press the M button, select the sport settings, and the car turned into something totally different. The exhaust would open up, the suspension would get stiff, and that V8 would come alive with a vengeance. The power delivery was intoxicating, smooth and creamy, but with enough punch to push you back in your seat. One driver who tried all 5 generations of M3 in a single day put it perfectly. The V8 in this M3 simply takes over the whole experience. Its smooth and beautiful delivery is linear like the older cars, but this is the first car I've driven today that feels truly quick. The V8 also brought new technology to the M3. The 7-speed dual-clutch transmission with the Drive Logic system was lightning fast, firing off gear changes with mechanical precision. The electronic differential helped put all that power to the ground, and the smart electronics package made the car easy to drive for anyone. Here's where things take an interesting turn. Looking back at BMW M3 history, this controversy wasn't actually new. It was part of a pattern that had been repeating for decades. Every single generation of M3 had faced criticism when it was first shown. The second M3 in 1992 was blasted for being too soft and comfortable compared to the race-bred first one. Critics complained that BMW had sold out by making the M3 more luxurious and less hardcore. The third M3 in 2000 faced its own controversy when BMW made the CSL version with paddle shifters instead of a proper manual transmission. Purists predicted disaster, claiming that no serious driver would ever want an automatic transmission in their M3. And now the fourth M3 was facing the same doubt over its V8 engine. But just like the previous generations, the critics were proven wrong. The pattern was clear. Initial anger, followed by record sales, followed by eventual acceptance and love. One car writer summed it up perfectly. This is what the M3 exists to do. It's a troublemaker. It's here to annoy the lovers and the haters, the comment section lurkers, and BMW owners. It's been doing it for 3 decades, and you all just fell for it again. The V8 M3 had proven all the doubters wrong, but its time wouldn't last forever. By 2013, BMW was facing new challenges: stricter pollution rules, pressure to use less fuel, and the need to stay competitive in an increasingly crowded market. The writing was on the wall when BMW announced the next-generation F80 M3 in 2014. Once again, the company was making a controversial change that would anger purists. This time, they were ditching the beloved V8 for its new S65 twin-turbocharged straight-six engine, the first turbocharged M3. The cycle was beginning again. The same people who had eventually accepted and loved the V8 were now complaining about turbochargers. "Turbos ruin the experience," they cried. "There's no replacement for natural breathing engines," they protested. "BMW is ruining the M3." But BMW had learned from history. They knew that initial criticism was just part of the process. The new M3 with its twin-turbo 6-cylinder would go on to become another sales success, proving once again that BMW's engineers knew what they were doing. Today, more than 10 years after the last V8 M3 rolled off the production line, its legacy is secure. The V8 M3 is now considered one of the greatest BMW performance cars ever built, representing the end of an era when naturally breathing engines ruled the performance car world. Prices of clean V8 M3s have shot up in recent years as collectors and enthusiasts recognize what a special machine it was. The combination of that screaming V8, precise handling, and stunning looks has created a modern classic that will only become more desirable with time. The V8 M3 also proved an important point about BMW's philosophy. The company has never been afraid to take risks and push boundaries, even when it means making their most vocal fans angry. From the beginning, BMW's M Performance division has been about innovation and performance, not about making internet forum warriors happy. Looking back, it's clear that the switch to the V8 was exactly what the M3 needed. It kept the car relevant in an increasingly competitive market, attracted new buyers to the brand, and created one of the most memorable engines in car history. The story of the V8 M3 teaches us something important about the car industry and about BMW in particular. Change is inevitable, and companies that refuse to evolve will be left behind. BMW understood this when they made the controversial switch to the V8, and they understood it again when they moved to turbocharged engines. Each time, they faced criticism from purists who wanted things to stay the same. But each time, they proved that progress doesn't mean abandoning what makes a car special. It means finding new ways to make it even better. Today's BMW performance cars continue this tradition. The current M3 with its twin-turbo engine makes more power than the V8 ever did while using less fuel and making less pollution. The upcoming new M3 promises to push boundaries even further with all-wheel drive options and even more smart technology. And there are already rumors about the next big controversy: an electric M3. Once again, purists are preparing their pitchforks, claiming that an electric M3 would be the end of everything they hold dear. But if history is any guide, BMW will once again prove the doubters wrong. The shocking truth behind BMW's M3 engine switch isn't that BMW betrayed their heritage, it's that they stayed true to it in the most unexpected way. By having the courage to abandon the 6-cylinder for a V8, BMW created one of the greatest performance cars of all time and proved that innovation beats tradition every single time. The V8 M3 wasn't just a car, it was a statement, a declaration that BMW would never stop pushing boundaries, never stop taking risks, and never stop surprising us. That's what made the M3 special in the first place, and that's what will keep it special for generations to come. The V8 M3 proved that sometimes the most controversial decisions create the greatest legends. Let us know what you think about this shocking switch in the comments below. Until next time, this is Seats and Wheels.